This is my old aluminum plant. It sucks. It just straight up sucks. And this is my new aluminum plant. And let me tell you, it's way better than that hunk of trash I had before. This plant has a planned 1200 alclad aluminum sheets per minute and a planned 1200 aluminum casings per minute. So let's dive right into how this plant came to be. So before we could build that big factory, we need to remove this factory. So with the old factory gone now, the new factory will produce this 1200 aluminum casings per minute and 1200 alclad aluminum sheets per minute as well. We're going to need quite a bit of space because I have written everything down on a piece of paper, which I'll put a picture of the piece of paper on screen. There's two pieces of paper, so pieces of paper. But that's what I did the day before this. Spent my night doing that. It was very fun. I wrote down a little flow chart on what we're going to need for every material and how much power this whole system will cost. And it is extremely expensive because it's, yeah, as you can see the words on the screen. Right, so now that I finished removing all of the foliage and stuff that I can remove because these stupid things can't move. Anyway, it's fine. I could build around them. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build the outline of the factory that we're going to build here. So I finished the frame for the building. This is the general outline of what I want the factory to kind of look like. Lots of curves and a few like squarey bits on there. I now need to go through and I need to fill in all of the space in the middle there. So I'm going to go and do that. All right, so I have finished filling in the frame for the factory. It took a hell of a lot of concrete, but it looks way better. And now we actually have a foundation so we can set up the actual production for this factory. All right, so I have been doing some building. Clearly, since the last clip, it has been a few days. I have gone through everything, all of my little notes and my little flow sheet that I made. Right here, this is going to be our alclad aluminum sheet setup right here with the 40 assemblers. 40 assemblers. This is going to be the aluminum casings, which that's a lot of stuff. These constructors over here are going to fill in that gap for the silica that we were missing for the different systems for the foundries. So that's what that's there for. So the raw quartz then will just get belted off into here. Clearly you can see I still need a lot of belt work to get done. This train station over here is responsible for bringing in the bauxite for everything that we need. So the thousands of bauxite that we need. There's a few miners around here. You can see by the bridges that are mining bauxite as well, and it all lines up to be in this little center spot right here with our total of 3,180 bauxite per minute coming into the factory. There's a little bit extra on there just for that, like, you know, fill up the belt line so that it never runs out ever. All right, so this right here is one of the bauxite stations. I've done some decorating and started to kind of like, you know, decorate a little bit with some pathways, some extra trains just to fill in the empty space of the building and such. Some batteries for backup power for whatever reason. There's a showcase for a train, and there's a few other items in there, including that. This bad boy all the way over here is nothing special. It's literally just a station with a track going around the corner. I'll build a building around there as well, but for now, he's just going to stay blank, and yeah. Over here, we have some quartz, where the quartz is being mined and loaded into the train and sent off and stuff. So this is where the quartz comes in. There's another quartz node right there. If we ever need extra quartz for whatever reason, maybe I did calculations wrong or something, we can always mine that one. They're all normal nodes, so with Mark III miners fully overclocked. So it's producing plenty. I think it's producing definitely a 780 belt full of, I think a 780 belt full of quartz. So that's good. We'll also need to build a building around this as well. Right, so the belt work, Right, so I did the belts. It's not that difficult. 600 each belts. That's 1,200 per minute, which is perfect. Now we just need to wire up the materials. So we need the copper ingots. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't do the copper yet. Oh, I'll be right back. Right, so I forgot the copper setup. We got it now. It's fixed. I got the copper smelters, all of them we need. So we're just going to split these bad boys in half. I think that's the halfway point. So we need to split these bad boys in half. So these 5 will go to that side, and these 5 will go to this side so that this side gets its copper. So let me build up all of the assemblers and the copper setup, and I will be right back with you guys. And I finished hooking up all of these. I put them as center as I can because we still need to take the output from these bad boys, and that's the aluminum, to put them into here. There's 10 of them here, and 20 assemblers, so I got to split 10 into 20 assemblers. I will figure that out after I built up the other side, because I completely forgot about it. And side number 2 hooked up. So I'm gonna hook up the foundries from here to here. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna split 20 foundries into wow, way off. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to split 10 foundries into 20 assemblers. I don't know how much each foundry is making. Each foundry is making 60, so for every 2 of these, I can split into this one. Yeah, that's why I set this up like this, because I could just set a splitter right here. Yeah, so I will go ahead and do that and be right back. So that's both sides. That's the foundries connected up, the copper system connected up. So now I just need to connect up the aluminum scrap from these refineries over here and put them into the foundry, so the foundries can actually produce us that aluminum scrap. We're also gonna need silica, which I will belt over after I connect up this stuff. So let's go and connect up all of these bad boys. So I finished hooking up all the foundries. They're all hooked up. Everything's good. Got a little wonky here, but I managed to make it work. After the 8th machine, I had to merge in that belt line just to fill the belt, just to make up for that missing, because 780 wouldn't reach all the way over there if we were filling all of them. So I did that on both sides. Next step is to grab the water from these guys. Well, we need to hook these guys up to those guys in the back, and then we also need to get the water from these guys, and we need to route that water back into the guys in the back, plus route water from there to these guys here. I think that top section of pipes there is to go to this setup, and the bottom section is to go to that setup, seeing as we need more water over there. So the water pipe's gonna go. It's just gonna go to here for now, because we need to bring the pipes over here. But first, I'm gonna connect up these 4 guys into these 5 guys, and I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna need to split this. So what we're gonna do for this, we're going to grab this and we're just gonna bring it over, and we're gonna connect it straight into this guy and then back into this guy. That's 600 from these 2 is being moved into these 2. Then the extra will go into that, and we'll do the exact same thing with that setup over there. So I'm gonna do that. All right, so that's all of those pipes set up for the sloppy aluminum, the alumina solution. Yeah, not the sloppy alumina solution. Next up, we need to hook up the coal into this. So I'm getting coal from that belt right there, and I do believe that's 600 coal per minute. We need 600 coal per minute, so that belt should suffice, so long as I'm correct with the 600 per minute part. Yeah, I am. Okay, cool. All right, so that is the coal all set up nicely. Next we need to take the silica that comes from here, and we need to route that silica into these smelteries right here. So let me bring those belts over there, and I'll go hook up the belts over there and bring them over here. Right, so I did the belt work. I brought the silica. The extra silica comes through these conveyor belts, gets like kind of, merged off into here, so that we fill up these belts to make 2 780 belts to fill all of the smelters on either side, because I think each smelter on either side doesn't need, I think a full 780 belt will fuel them both. I actually should double check that. Yes, it'll fuel them both, because each needs only 750 each side. So that's perfect. This side's a little different than that side. It kind of bothers me a little bit, but I had to, because I was not removing that corner again and rebuilding it to line this up nicely. So I'm glad that those steep conveyors work. And I've also set up the belts over here with the mergers to bring the silica up and out. So next step is to hook up the water lines and the input for the bauxite into these guys. And this needs like 300 bauxite each, so 600 per 2 machines, which is perfect, because that's 2 780 belts. We can just bring 2 belts of 600, which I have 2 belts of 600 over there. I could just bring them over here and wire them up into these, and then we'll bring the water over here and get that extra water to fill in that gap. So I'm going to do that real quick and be right back. All right, so there's the bauxite all connected up to these guys. So technically it's not ready yet. We still need the water. All right, so I have done the pipe network. It's all coming up here. I need to fix this conveyor belt so it goes over, but I've done some logistics with the pipe. So because we have the 600 coming this way, we can split 600 to fill that one. So we're stopping all the water from continuing. So we're only allowing 150 through, because 600 minus 150 is 450. So 450 is going through here into this guy. The extra 150 is coming, merging with 300 to make 450 to go into this guy. So this is a 600 pipe, which is split to the 300. 300 coming this way is mixed with 150 from this extra 600 pipe to go this direction, to merge with that to go into that guy. And then when you take 150 from 600, it ends up with your 450 left for the last guy. So it's just a bunch of valves controlling how much water is sent in which direction and whatnot. So it works out pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with it. Right, so now all we need to do is connect up the power grid to all of this system. So all of this system right here will run off of its own power grid. I still still haven't connected up all of the copper yet, but that's all right. All of this will run off of one system in a main control room in the center of the factory that I think I'll just put a control room up right here that will control all of the factory different areas so that I can turn on and off depending on if I need to shut down like less important areas or power crises that happen potentially in the future that are just probably going to happen anyway. Copper system fixed. Bean. Anyway, super random. I'm going to put that in the video. Just bean. All right, so I hooked up all the power to these guys. You can see the power lines. I lined them all up so they're all like really neat, and like I'm really going for the neatness of this factory, and I'm loving how this is looking. Like look at how this bad boy looks with all the conveyor belts and stuff. Remember what it looked like before? Well, I have a picture probably, and this is what we got, and it looks beautiful. Next, I would like to paint all of these pipes so that they're the appropriate color for what they're moving. So the water pipe's blue, the alumina solution to be the gray. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I don't know if I'm gonna paint the conveyor belts, though maybe I will. You know what? Actually, yeah, I'll paint them. I'll color coat them. And color coding done. As you can see, I've color coded the station to generally kind of try to get a bauxite color, but it's kind of hard when you're eyeballing it. The copper area has been color coded to generally close to the copper color. The bauxite lines, the coal line, the silica, the alumina, all these pipes here. So there's a lot of gray going around in here because of the gray colors, the gray color of aluminum. But you got like this, I really like this red color I went with because look at it. I'm happy with that. The next thing we need to do is we need to work on this system over here. Oh, and I color coded that to the quartz color as well. So it's nice and pink and beautiful. That train's gonna be pink too. I've done that whole system to white because it's gonna need to be white. But our next goal is to set up this system and make it functional just like the other one is. All right, so it is now time for us to tackle this side of the system. Yeah, I've already gone through and hooked up all the power lines, as you can see. So the power is good. That doesn't need to be done. We just need to hook up all the conveyor belt and pipelines and whatever else needs to be hooked up. So we got to do that, as well as I have set up a little bit of started building the building around the factory, kind of getting like a design going for this wall here because I wanted big, long, huge windows. I was like, I'll do like on the flat sections, it'll be like a gap like this to break up the details like over there, and then this to add that thick layer at the bottom, and it looks cool. I need to paint these pillars, forgot about that. But yeah, this is going to go all the way around. The window will end right there, and then yeah, I haven't figured out what I want to do over there yet, but yeah, this is what I've got going on for the front. All right, so when it comes to setting up these foundries into these constructors, we have 30 foundries, I do believe, and 20 constructors. So this row right here will go to the 10 constructors on this side. That row will go to 10 constructors on that side. So I'm going to wire those up and I'll be right back. Hey, yo, how the hell did I end up with such a short little conveyor? It's not even possible to build that short of a conveyor. How did I even, what? This game do be weird sometimes, man. God damn. And the belt work's done. I've connected up either side to where it needs to go. Next up, we need to connect up, we need to connect up all these guys into 2 separate lines because it's going to produce 1200 per minute, which is a little more than 780. So it's going to be 2 780 belts, 1 full, 1 not. Or I'll just split it in half, 600 on each belt. Next up is to connect up the materials we need for the refineries, which I do believe is ourselves the aluminum scrap and silica. Let's set up the aluminum scrap to all of the foundries here. Right, so we have one overclocked refinery. That's this one. It'll produce 540. These other 6 refineries are producing the regular 360, not overclocked at all. That is going to be a grand total of 2,700 scrap per minute. So we need to split that 2,700 into these 2 rows. So there's 15 per row. If you divide 2,700 in half, you get 1,350. So 1,350 needs to be gone to each row, which is 2 Mark V conveyor belts moving 780 to the belt systems. This guy will need to be split so that he merges equally into each of these lines. So I think we're going to take this line, these 3, move them into this this back side, and then these 3, and we'll just put them on these front ones. This guy will just split off into those 2, as I said, to fill that empty space that we do not have that we need. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do all the belt work, and I'll catch you guys back in a bit. All right, so I have gone ahead and I set up all of the conveyor belts. They look fine. Next up is to take the silica byproduct that comes from these refineries, these 15 refineries, so we can put it into these guys, then take the extra silica we need from those guys and bring it over here. This should be making about 750. Yeah, 50 times 15, 750. So that's perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and do all the belt work. I'm gonna bring that over here. here, and I'm gonna line these guys all up so we bring them over here or that side. I don't know. We'll see how I'd feel when I bring it over here, but I will be right back. All right, so I have brought the silica lines over here. They're right here, so I can do all the load balancing and stuff, so I can merge them together. I've done a few calculations over here, so we need like a little, like 1100 and something, 1120 I think it was, silica per minute per row. So we can only do 10 machines for a full 780 belt. It won't be a full belt, it'll only be 750, but we can only do 10 machines, otherwise the numbers become too high. So 10 machines should be about right here, I would say, because that's 5 right there. 5. So this is the 10th machine right here. So that's where that will end, and then another belt will come to fill in the extra 90 times 5, whatever the hell that is, 450 I think it is. So the last 450 that we need will come in from another belt. Same goes for the other side. It doesn't change, it'll be exactly the same. I'm gonna go ahead and belt that all up, and I'll be right back. Right, so I'm done all the belt work. I finished it. I even put in these pipes and stuff, so those will go out and route back. I'll explain that in a minute here, but for this, since it goes to every 10 machine, I decided, you know what, we'll just send a full 780 belt this way, and we'll put a smart splitter so that any overflow, so that extra 30 that will come off from that 750 that gets split into these machines, that extra 30 will go here, merge with this 780 belt that goes in here and fills this line up, and then the overflow, because this is also a smart splitter, the overflow from filling these guys up will continue this way, merging with that extra 190 I think it was, to go this way, making a 5 something belt. My math I think is off. That's why I put this here, because I think my math is off. This will overflow will go in here just in case, so I could double check when the system's running to see if I messed up my math. Same principle over here, just a little less complicated. Merger goes into this to fill up this line over here to make up for that missing amount that we needed. For all the pipes and stuff over here, these pipes a full 600, this one's 180, which this one is perfect because we can just run that one straight into one of these ones because it works just that way. This guy will go merge with the 6,000 pipes I got to bring over here over there, and I got this much space to make all the pipe work and stuff work. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and wish me luck. And the pipe work is done. This took way longer than it should have taken. This took me like 40 damn minutes to figure out this pipe system because I had like kept doing my math wrong in my head and messing stuff up. Like right here was a problem. I didn't do my math right with these guys. I added up 5 of these, which 120 times 6 is 700 and something. So it was over the number. So I just took this one and split it into this line, and this line goes over here, which is then separated where the 180 that comes out from the original one will go into here. The last 120, that extra 120 comes over here, merges with another 60 that comes from here into 180 into that one. The 600 line goes here, splits that 60 that way, 180, or sorry, not 180, whatever the hell's left here, and then, you know, splits it off this way. Same with all this complicated spaghetti mess. Got a little interesting with the space. The conveyor belts are going to be the fun part. It will look pretty cool and fancy after, but one thing I did forget to do is put a valve right here that only allows 180 through. This is why I go back through everything and check, because there I would have had a problem. Well, I don't think it would cause much of a problem, but still, it just wasn't right without the valve. So I'm gonna probably go through and double check my pipe network and make sure everything's correct, and then I will move on to the belts. Right, so all the belts are good. We now need to bring the bauxite. So we need 120 bauxite per machine here. So all the bauxite's gonna come from over there, obviously, because that's where the bauxite comes in. What was it? 120 per machine times 15. 1800 bauxite needs to come in here if I was correct with my numbers. Yeah, okay, perfect. So we have 1980 bauxite coming in, so we have an extra 180 bauxite, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, if I'm being completely honest. Having extra of your original material is always good so that your system's constantly running. I'm gonna go ahead and belt all this up in there. It's probably gonna take not as long as the pipes, but it'll take a minute, so I'm gonna go do that and I'll be right back. And the bauxite is all hooked up neatly. Didn't take as long, it really didn't. It was actually really quick, just simple, like splitting off. I did the exact same thing I did with the pipes and went through subtracting how much I had from what I needed or what I was taking away and blah blah blah. 2 smart splitters just for the overflow protection to make sure it doesn't like just allow resources to go through. It only allows the overflow. We have 1 belt of 300 bauxite over there that has no use because we had 300 more than we needed. So congratulations me, I over prepared for this. So we have 1 more area to do belt work and then we are done. The complicated belt work for the entire factory, other than just moving the finished products from their constructor assemblers to the storage room where they will be stored. So what we need to do is we need to belt up the items here, which we need to take the silica and put the silica places, and then take the sloppy aluminum and put that into sloppy aluminum. We need to take the alumina solution and put it into these guys so that we can produce the actual aluminum scrap. So I'll have to figure out how I'm going to merge all of them together into a few high number belts, then split them off into all of these guys. The silica will be need to be moved to these sides here. The silica's already been moved off the side. I was just having a stroke there for a second. God damn, I'm so confused. I'm back in one piece. I have been playing this game for many hours. I played too many hours and done too much math to figure this out. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all the pipe work and stuff for this, and I'll be right back. And I've done all the pipe work and such, so it doesn't look very pretty. I got lazy with it. I do not feel like making it look fancy, so I just every 2 machines fuels one of those machines. So I was like, well, I'll just connect up 2 pipes and move them in, connect up 2 pipes, move them in, connect up 2 pipes and move them in. The middle one's overclocked, so we need 3 pipes. So we're gonna connect up 3 of them. It's the neatest looking one and merges into that one. And then the same with this side as the other side. Right, so the last step we need to do is we need to bring the coal to these guys. We need 120 coal for 6 of them, and I don't know what the overclock number is. We need 180 coal for the overclocked one and 120 for the other ones. So we need to bring 900 coal per minute here. So we need to go to the nodes around the map. I don't think I'm bringing in enough coal for this. All right, so I am done all of the conveyor belt stuff. The coal is all split off nicely. So that's 900 coming in, being split off into these machines perfectly. Well, not perfectly, it's a little off on some of them that are just regular, but that's not a big deal. So that's done. Now my brain is mush. So the next step in building the building is actually building the building.
I think my brain just committed suicide.
Around the factory, seeing as we have now finished the entire factory here. No idea what I'm gonna do for that. I literally not a clue in my mind. I just threw together, just trying to get something to work. I don't think the roof is going to be completely flat all the way across. It'll probably be multi-leveled and different. Will probably be another floor in a couple different spots and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go to bed, take a break. My brain is turned into mush. Okay, so I did a little building, just a little bit, tiny little bit of building. It's been a week and a bit since that last clip there. I unfortunately got sick. And I mean very sick in that week, and I had no energy and no want to do anything but sit around and watch TV. I did manage to get the building done in there with the small amount of time I spent doing it. It's an interesting design. It's got so many little weird types and designs in there. We got boxy windows over there, round stuff going through the front. This side ain't nothing special. It's just big windows and a weird window in there with lines that go across. But generally just lots of big windows is what I was going for. So I got lots of big windows here, these big round ones, lines that come down, and then these weird lines down there that just, I don't know what I was doing, just break up the straight lines that we get from that. The front entrance to this place, it's nothing special. It's just there to be there. We get some more big square windows and more of the textured, depth texture, pillar, whatever you want to call them. Weird angled shaped diamond windows and such, and awkward shaped buildings. Then my personal favorite part of the build is this part here, because it just looks so good with the big round window and the flat roof going over top with the round window curving underneath it. These merge into those lines very nicely. The texture details up there. This window that goes up and curves back down, making this weird pointy, angry looking roof wall. Yeah, and for the inside, all I did with these little things that were in the way earlier, I just encased them in glass boxes, which I think looks pretty cool. Nothing much else I could do. So we have plenty of space in here because in the future, we're going to be building a battery plant, most likely. And I'm going to put the battery plant inside this building so it's close to the aluminum that it needs to build the batteries, because you need aluminum alclad sheets. Yes, for the battery, there's 2 different recipes for the battery. One needs aluminum casings and one needs alclad aluminum sheet. I don't know which of these I'll end up using. I'll choose eventually. This one byproducts water, so probably not that one, probably this one. So we'll need the alclad sheet, which is fine. We can keep the factory close to the alclad sheets. So, okay, so there's one more thing we need to do before we can turn this factory on. We need to take the product from all of this and bring it to the main control room so I can put it into storage containers that will be located and set probably in the back here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wire that all up to this main room here. I'll probably just bring it up there, and yeah, I'll be right back. Right, so I've hooked up the products from both of the systems into the control room. This is the belt right there, and it runs just casually along here and into the wall, and then that one over there just runs. The belt goes there and just kind of squeezes along through here, around and up and down and into the wall, and then it goes into this beautiful storage room here. The storage room set up how I think I like it. It got this neon strip there that looks pretty cool. One of the conveyor belts that comes out of there will go right here so that we know the system is running. So the right hand side's the casing, so this one will have casings and this one will have sheet. Pretty interesting little building design I went with. I didn't really know what else to do, just had to make it look good. And in the back with the conveyor belts, I didn't have much space because this wall, I cannot tear down this wall due to the outside being there, so I had to really squish this all in here, so it's really squishy and real close to clipping, but it fits in here nicely, and these actually don't need to be there, but I quite like it, and it works. I hope. I actually don't know. I'm assuming it will. It's just two conveyor belts merging nicely into the storage containers. So the next thing we need to do is we actually need to set up the train lines so that we can actually get the materials we need, such as the bauxite and the quartz, into the factory. So we need to build ourselves a few little choo-choos. This choo-choo, I want to change this station to be too long, kind of, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to. I'm lazy. So we need a choo-choo, and then we need a choo-choo car. Obviously we're gonna make this guy this beautiful color that we used. I don't know what color this is. Something like that, I guess, might work. Yeah, sure, like the original fix-it color. So with this bad boy, because we have no power right now, he won't work, but we need to set up the train station. I forget how to do this. I haven't done this in so long. Here we go. So we need to set up the timetable now. We need to get to this guy and this guy. I guess we can just go in there and then to that guy and then out. Edit timetable to Mexico City, apparently. We're going to Mexico. And then we're going to go to bauxite station number 2, and then we're gonna go back to the main station, the second one, I do believe, because it drives in. Hold up. Yes, it drives in on this track, so the left track, which means we need to have the far station Sydney to be the proper one here. So that's good. So now if we get power, it should go to this station properly and then to this station. I was gonna drive it over there, but I have no power, so when we turn it on, we'll test everything. So I think that's working. Let's go do the quartz one now. Right, I also need to balance out these conveyor belts, so I will set up the train real quick and I'll balance these out, and then we can turn on the factory and see if everything works, hopefully. All right, it's definitely a good thing I made a backup save because I completely forgot to record me turning on the factory. I turned everything on and then realized there's 16,000 things that aren't working properly. There's this whole system over there isn't connected to power. There's no materials coming because the power is not connected. So I'm gonna double check everything before I turn it on, because I just realized I have 90% of the stuff doesn't seem to be hooked up when I thought I hooked everything up. Magic Satisfactory ghosts are unhooking all my power grids, so I'll be right back. Backup save made. Let's hit the switch. Rip my power grid with the 13,000 power consumption. Look at the consumption bar. It was doing good, below my production, and then doing my max consumption just shotgun to the sky. I'm still producing more than I'm using for now. Let's go double check everything's working. So if all of these are connected up properly, we should start seeing materials coming in soon. So this system with the coal into the station. So let's see if he unloads anything. Well, it didn't unload, so I'm not sure why that is. Oh, because I have it set to load. That means this one on the other side is also set to the same thing. So obviously this factory is going to take a while before it's in full force working, because all the materials need to come in and back up and backlog and stuff. For now, we will just need to chill and wait. So far, everything seems to be working. The train for the bauxite should be coming soon here. I might need to add a second carriage to this guy. I think he'll unload both carriages, but I might need to, well, if I need to, I can increase the throughput rate by upgrading the station size or adding just another carriage so it brings more materials at a time. This is working, so that's good. We are making alclad sheets. That's working, good. So let's just make sure that we're actually getting materials from all of our systems here. Alclad sheets, I've seen some come in. Perfect. Oh, there's just some came in, but casings, I don't think we've got any because the silica hasn't really been turned on yet, but it should be working now. We should be getting silica through here. I do see silica coming out, like I was pretty good, decent line coming out, and it looks like it is backlogging. So that's perfect. But we do have casings coming in. It looks like our first casings are about to come up here. I don't think that's connected, but we should get casings up here, hopefully. Yeah, perfect. Everything is functioning. That is it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.